I was going to be a little later than expected because the idea was I run up, go to the funeral, hugs, handshakes, turn around, go home. And, I had got some family from the coast from all around that I hadn't seen in quite some time. And a lot of that side of the family is kind of yuppies that I don't get along too well with. I'm blue collar, military mechanic. Don't really hang out with the sharp dress crowd too much. And during that drive on 82, I tried repeatedly. In fact, let's see if I can give you some times. My dad and my grandpa and I had been joking around about how, it's strange, Des hasn't called yet. She hasn't been bugging me yet today because she's a real stickler on the times. She schedules tight. Yeah. I adapt and overcome and kind of go spontaneous. So we've been joking about that. And let's see. All it's showing is the last phone call to her at 9:11 p.m. But
that's the last time you tried to call her?
Yeah.
This is a good start.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the phone records could give you more specifics if you need them, but all along the drive, I just kept calling her randomly, trying to get a hold of her. And I sent her a text even at one point, why aren't you answering? And just wasn't getting anything from her. And it was kind of freaking me out because, after the robbery last weekend, Deputy Wuchek had said that it looked like they had been interrupted or spooked or something and they may be back. So the next day we had a ADT system installed and
fucking
it
missed my
was
smite.
all kind of. It had already been like an hour of me trying to get a hold of her with nothing. And I took her car to the Tri-Cities
I guess
and
3
left
p.m.
mine because, the last weekend when we were out of town was when it became illegal to be running studs, and I still got my studs on the charger. So it was like, don't need a ticket. And Crown Vic's full of gas.
Military guy with a Dodge Charger, I can't believe that.
Charger's on E and has studs. Come on. And so she convinced me to take the cop car.
Law enforcement have never had a Dodge Charger
I took
in their
hers,
life.
and she said she didn't want to drive my car.
Hate this fucking guy's commentary sometimes.
Whatever. Well, keys anyways. If you need it, take it. And so I wasn't expecting her to be gone. Really didn't think she'd go anywhere. With the way the wind was, I knew she wasn't going to take the bike anywhere. She's kind of a picky rider. And
Fucking in
so
Team
was driving
Pantheon, I
nuts.
called it from the fucking Champion
And
Select.
about the time I got on the Conowak Road-ish area, it was too much. I called. And the first gal I talked to, I told her, I'm probably just crazy, but I checked my phone a little while ago, and I got the alarm system was arm stay, meaning that she's at home. So
I used to have this alarm system.
that kind of implies that she was there, and the motion detector's turned off for the stay home, and the motion detector comes on for stay gone. Well, when it's home, the door switches still work. And when I checked the phone, I saw that both doors had tripped within close time frame of each other. When I looked at it, it said front door open,
All right, man,
closed,
Della
like
catalog,
324.
relax.
And then back door, open, close, 327, open, close, 328. So, in my head, I put that together as she goes in the front door, out the back door, and then, obviously shuts the doors behind her, and then comes back in the back door and shuts it. So she should be home. So why isn't she answering me? She should be in the house. Because that's in, out, in,
Scott claims that while he was driving home, he was unable to make contact with his wife.
Wow,
And
this might be the
worried
best
him
thing I've
so
ever done.
much that he called 911 to ask for a wellness check. What's interesting is that after he
no,
makes
it
the
was the
call,
worst thing I've ever
Scott
done.
decides that instead of continuing to drive home to see if his wife is okay, He drives around in circles, waiting for the police to get there first.
That's
I
weird.
kind of stalled a little bit. I drove around.
Oh my god, he did that though.
Waiting, giving her that chance to call me, and giving the deputy a chance to get free and get over there. And I headed to the
Nice.
house, and I pulled down the driveway. And I went down the driveway to the left, and I fired up my spotlight, and I pointed it at the back door. I noticed my charger's there, so she must be home. I stayed there. I kept waiting. I couldn't go in. I didn't know what the hell to do. So I backed the car up a ways and got on the phone. And I called my friend Brian that lives out in Glebe. I can't
Glebe?
walk in and see it. If something's wrong in there, I can't see it. But at the same time, somebody broke in when she was there. And she got hurt or restrained. And I was sitting out in the car, sitting outside while she's scared.
Bit more than that, bud.
And I can't go in there to help her. That was going to drive me nuts. So, just as I was regaining myself, getting it back together, getting ready to do it, the deputy from Moxie pulled up alongside me.
Oh, how convenient.
And
I was
could not
this
have been
close to
better
going
timing.
in.
Because right then I was able to just say, hey, my alarm system's on. It's off. Here's my keys.
Why is Jinx
Please.
not with us?
I can't do this. And
Fair.
yeah, I just waited there. And he walked around. And I
Honestly, it's fair.
stayed at my car, had the spotlight on the back door still. Had the door open, standing in the door, you know, using it for cover. In case he spooks him out the rear.
Why?
And waiting, and he circled the residence, and he went up from around the back side and all along the picture windows and across the back by the master bedroom and bath around the
Guy looks like you'd like the taste of decaf coffee. Yeah, that'd be weird.
back fence
What a
onto the
weirdo.
patio and in the front door. And he came. It had been a little while. It seems like I should have seen lights coming on. I should have seen flashlights in the windows, something. And I got nothing. And I didn't hear anything either. So I walked around, and I wanted to see if the bikes were there too, because
Decaf tastes different than normal? A little bit. There's like a kind of bitterness to it, but regular coffee also has that. So I don't know. If you know, you know. I don't know.
you know, maybe she was bound and determined. She had to run down to the store for something.
She has her own bike that she rides.
Yeah, I got her one of the newer bike than mine. I got her a 2010 Sportster 883 iron, and welded up a little cargo rack for the back of it and everything, so she could.
What year
use
is
it for
this?
school.
2013? I
And,
guess from the date?
So I went into the garage real quick and I checked to make sure the bikes were there. Both bikes are there. My car's there. Her car's here. I look over and there's the deputy standing out on the front patio, looking like he's on the phone or on the radio or something. He had a device up to his head, and he saw me and immediately.
Why
Let's
mention
get this
the whole
shit.
bike details? No, I'm not saying he is the murderer, especially because of the title, but even a suspect does this sort of thing, or they
Oh yeah, you're
will just
fucking dead,
talk
Yorkie.
and talk and
GG.
say everything that could sound like that's what happened, and anything that's believable and whatever like works. They'll just mention stuff that's irrelevant just to like sprinkle in more lies, stuff like that.
He started walking over,
Oh,
and I didn't make it any more than about halfway to the gravel to him. And he said, you know, go wait over by the car.
I'm out of here.
I'm coming with you. Let's go over there. I opened it. He said I opened the door and I called for Dez and I got no response. I hollered police department, nothing. I didn't see a dog. Nothing's going on in there. It just doesn't seem right. I got backup coming. Next thing I know, they come outside and one guy's patting me down they're asking if I'm armed. I'm like, yeah, I just told the other deputy, got a 45 right side inside the waistband, hip holster, you know. And I had it in the car because it's my dad's old gun. You know, I was bringing it up in the Tri-Cities, and when I was pulling into the house, I stopped at the end of the driveway, right up there by the dumpster, about halfway to the house, and went around, popped the trunk, and quickly slapped it on before I came down. So I was ready to go, and so they took the gun and patted me down,
there.
and they put a surefire
Think he kills him,
flashlight
though.
on my back pocket.
No.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
And took whatever else they wanted, and had me sit in the back of one of the cars. And one of the deputies told me that there was a deceased woman inside, and that was all he would say about it. He obviously, I mean, I understand he can't ID her, so they don't know her. That's probably her.
Okay.
So I guess as of now, I still can't say for sure. Pretty sure.
What actual melancholy about your wife dying, bro?
The detective finally confirms that it was in fact his wife's body, and all Scott can say is okay. Scott doesn't ask any further information about what happened to his wife.
Military
Instead,
man when
the
emotional
conversation
moment.
turns to the gun he was holding.
You said that you had your dad's 45 with you.
Yeah, my dad was sergeant with the Franklin County Sheriff's Department for many years, and he had a old 80 series Colt Mark IV 1911 that was his duty pistol for many years. He shot competitively for the police department. Got all kinds of great awards.
Having emotions is so unmanly, so I just became a rock. No need for sad. Only muscle and gun. Wife dead, but still rock. And unwoke beer and red hat.
God, I hate this guy.
And after the deployment, I was like,
No
So,
safety.
Give me the bite!
Did you keep any other guns inside the house?
yeah, I had a few.
Okay, what kind of guns did you have in there?
Let's see, I had.
That's good.
Well, let's go with Dez's. When her grandfather died, her mom.
Yeah,
left a few
you're fucking
guns
done,
behind, so
bitch.
Military guy, I shoot. That Dez going on it. She left a Remington Wingmaster.
A shotgun?
Yep, and a Remington Huntsmaster, which is pump action 30-06. And then two revolvers made by Haas. They were Sig Sauer before Sig Sauer got together.
What color?
Sorry, I had to.
What caliber are the revolvers?
One of them is a 22 long rifle, and one of them is a 357.
I was
They're
waiting
both
for my
single
moment, bro.
actions. Dez also had a carry pistol. It was a Ruger LCP 380.
None of the guns found in the home matched the bullet casings found near Desiree's body.
Interesting.
As the interrogation plays out, Scott tells the detective the real reason he wasn't home when his wife had been killed. Scott claims that he and his wife had an open relationship, and he had been visiting his girlfriend, Paige Blades. Scott explains that not only is he in a relationship with Paige, but so is his wife.
You know,
What is happening?
I shouldn't go there because it's kind of rude, but, well, Dez didn't want me to say anything to anybody, but she kind of had mixed feelings, and if I'll do anything, but that's one thing I can't provide for. At one point, her and Paige had a little thing going for a while there, a little experiment.
Okay, so it was Desiree and Paige who had the sexual relationship?
Yeah.
But not you and Paige? Or sometimes,
We all did.
Sometimes you and Paige too?
Honestly, we all did.
Okay.
Wow, this is just like
Just a
juicy,
little experiment.
juicy drama I'm hearing over fucking true crime. Like, what the fuck is going on?
You were going to stay with Paige.
No, and honestly, we didn't even do anything.
Fucking-
I was out on the couch anyways, because
Wait, listen.
it's kind of one of those things where, as long as we're going to
Bro had a
do anything,
hypothesis.
we need to make sure we all are fine with doing anything.
They were concocting a theorem, guys. That's crazy. Yeah. Me, when I'm an emotionally unavailable military guy and won't admit how I feel about relationships, so I call it an experiment. Just a little thing. It's definitely not something I'm like way for and like a lot. Definitely not. It's just like a little experiment we do.
So
What is this guy's
so
fucking
everybody stays
commentary, man?
informed.
I hate his disdain for the
So
American
if there's
military
no
and
information
government.
or no previous arrests made, nothing happens. Avoid hard feelings.
So it sounds like you and Desiree have a pretty open relationship, as long as the communication
Generally,
lines
no.
were no.
Generally, no, just with her.
Just with her, there was a special relationship with Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have you and Desiree been getting along?
Great.
No problems in the marriage.
No. Typical marriage things, you know, bickering and picking at each other for stupid little things.
Yeah. No big fights though.
No.
Don't worry.
Kiss and hug and go to night happy. Or go to bed at night happy.
The detective plans on speaking with Paige to hopefully get more information, but before he lets Scott go, he wants to know why he didn't go in the home to check on his wife.
Well, I'm just thinking, you're a big guy. You're a sick.
I don't know, maybe because they drove there to kill her and they're pretending she didn't go with him.
6'4",
Why is he inting?
That would be crazy.
Somewhere up there.
6'4", 250. You've got a firearm on you. You've been in combat. I mean, you've done some serious shit that most people will never do. So if anyone's going to be willing to go charging in the house and make sure their wife's okay, it seemed to me that it would be you.
Well, it's not that I was afraid of anybody being in there. I'll take on 100 people for her, that's fine.
Yeah.
Clearly
That
not.
wasn't the concern, it was her.
What do you mean?
You just don't want to see what may have happened to her.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And what did you think you might see if you went inside?
Roll around 1,000 of the worst things you could think of.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
The only reason I would have been forced to go in there, the only reason I could talk myself into it, was the fear that she still needed me in there. You know what I mean? Because if she was in there and she was hurt and scared or restrained, and I was sitting outside, just idly waiting while she's in there going through that alone, that would have killed me.
But you would have,
So if
that would have played out had
somebody
you.
else goes in there and it's fine, everything's empty, that's great.
Whoops.
Right. But like, that's quite literally what would have gone inside. Exactly. He's sitting there like, if she was like going through it, I would have, but I didn't. And I'm like, weird. Yeah, why is your first assumption she's dead? I feel like his logic is all the reasons he would have gone inside, yet he didn't.
Now? Was there anyone
I don't
else that she has fought with recently, or that you can think of that might want to hurt her?
Nothing. I mean, who hates an art teacher?
Has destroyed a turret.
It's an elective. Everybody that's in there wants to be there.
So she hasn't had problems with anyone?
No,
Your turret has
neither
been
one of
destroyed.
us.
An ally has been slain.
Other than her
What is Mordekaiser doing?
relation.
Actually, quite a few years ago, before we were even married, she cheated on me at one point with another guy, but you know, that's long since over with.
When you were dating, she
Yeah.
had an affair. Has she had any affairs since you've been married?
No, not that I know of. Yeah, it's been good.
Even though the detective found it
Except the person
strange
we're
that
doing-
Scott never went into the home to check on his wife,
Yeah, except the person we're like, whatever.
it wasn't enough to
I don't know
charge him
what's
with
going on.
anything. The police decided to interview Paige next, but her story was almost exactly
What are
the
these,
same as
Facebook
Scott's.
photos?
The detective reported that it was almost as if she was coached to say what she said. Because Paige provided no new information, the case
Interesting.
went cold for over a year. During this time, the police found out that Paige was pregnant, so Scott and Paige became their prime suspects. In the summer of 2014, the police received an anonymous tip claiming they knew who the shooter was. The caller turned out to be Paige, and she claimed that her best friend, Marty Grismer, was the killer.
Okay, so obviously the big reason that I wanted to talk to you face to face was that we got
Totally.
a Crime Stoppers tip from you with some new information about the shooting. Did a little
Is this
research
best friend in the
based
room
on
with us right
information
now?
that you sent us, and found a picture of Marty Grismer. Is that the gentleman that we're talking about? Okay.
Oh boy.
Would you mind just initialing and putting the date below that? Normally I
Oh,
would
look
do
at that,
a one-time,
Mordecai's are
but you were
inted.
so specific with your description about who it was that I felt pretty comfortable.
It looks a little bit different now.
Okay. How does it look different now?
He has hair. I can.
He has hair. Whoa! Are they fake crying though? Dude, look at the title of the video. I'm gonna assume, yeah.
It is quite a difference.
I mean, unless a third woman enters the arena,
Well,
I'm
he
gonna
was
assume this is
about
her.
18 in that picture, and he's 10 years later.
So, in the tip, you were pretty specific about some new information that's come to light. So, why don't you just tell me in your own words what you've heard?
Men
How
can
you
be
heard it.
queens.
I think that's as
Nice.
good a place as any.
God, this microphone is so
Last week,
catching
I had
every single
Scott over.
scrape.
He was there for a week. And
Stop moving.
we were arguing.
It's
and
getting every
Marty
scrape and creak and
wife,
everything, bro.
was my babysitter at one point.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we had been up all night arguing and talking, and I asked Marty to come over and get the baby. Thank you,
There we go, baby.
and he was
Oh, yeah,
like,
he's just
"That was
ending now.
safe."
Awesome.
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. That's what I do when I cry. I have a little wind up. I go,
I told him what was going on, and he asked me.
at this point, is this fake's insanity? Brother, no. Not even close. Like, we're not talking like acting silly in the interrogation room. We're talking like during the crime. This is an interesting one. I don't know where it's gonna go.
He asked me if I wanted him to take care of this new woman like he did Des. And I asked him what he was talking about.
Mine. And my kill as well. Lick my dick. Crit Volley Bear is the way to go. Looks like it doesn't matter. My team's
The first time
inting,
he
but
came
we
to see me,
could
I
still
was
win.
pregnant. we had just found out about 3 weeks before the shooting that I was pregnant. Marty was one of the first people that I told. And apparently, he decided that if the baby was Scott's like it was supposed to be, then Desiree would cause issues.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Oh my god.
So did you told Marty that Scott was the father of the baby?
Oh, Marty knew that Scott and I were together, and Scott was the only one that I was seeing.
Yeah, but that's
And
how we
he
lose
sorted
because
us
Zed.
together.
Oh yeah, Bali is a troll, huh?